if I was looking at myself from the outside, I would say, I'd probably think that girl must be a little crazy because she's all over the place. But, you know, I'd probably just think she was a very creative person.
Salut les amis, bienvenue à Paris. Nous sommes au pied du Panthéon pour une rencontre et un nouveau tournage de Carré VIP. Nous avons rendez-vous avec une artiste internationale. Elle nous attend juste ici. Vous voulez un petit indice ? Vous voulez savoir qui c'est ? Vraiment, je vous le dis.
Bonjour.
Ah bah voilà, c'était ma première question. Est-ce que tu connais des mots en français ?
Bonjour.
C'est bien.
I want to know more French. Sadly, I don't speak any other language besides English.
Ça représente quoi pour toi la France ? Alors je sais que tu as fait déjà pas mal de dates, pas mal de tournées ici, mais est-ce que tu as un rapport particulier avec ce pays ?
I've been to Paris, I've been to France many times, and I love this country. I will always remember the first time I came here and did a show and how much love I felt from my fans here and how much acceptance. And I will also always remember the best sandwich I've ever had in my life which was just a baguette with cheese on it, and it was so good. It was the best I actually just sent my keyboard player out right now to find me one. I was like, get me a baguette with cheese, please, because you guys have the best bread here and the best cheese. And but also I remember the first time I came here, it was like a snowstorm, and I went out on a day off with my keyboard player Gavi, and we just went walking around Paris, and it was magical. It was snowing, and we walked to the Eiffel Tower and to Notre Dame, and it's just such a magical, special place.
Je disais tout à l'heure, au-delà de ça, au-delà de la gastronomie, au-delà des nombreux monuments qu'on peut trouver en France, il y a aussi tous les concerts que tu as fait ici. Tu es venu régulièrement ici. Et d'ailleurs, on pourra te retrouver prochainement parce que le 5e album est sorti. Il s'appelle Artemis et il y a plusieurs dates. Les dates, vous les retrouvez qui s'affichent notamment demain à la scène musicale à côté de Paris. Toutes les dates à retrouver. D'ailleurs, on vous fait gagner des places sur RTS. La question que j'ai, c'est par rapport au public français. Comment il est le public français par rapport au public, toi qui tournes dans le monde entier, par rapport aux autres publics?
French fans are so fun to perform for because they're just passionate. It was so special. One time when I played here in Paris, I believe it was at the Zenith, I had a huge group of fans that all dressed up as different costumes from my videos. So one was dressed up like the Master of Tides, like pirate. One was dressed up like the Shatter Me ballerina, and like just costume of all these costumes I had. So they were cosplaying as me, and they were in the front row of my show. And I've never seen that anywhere else in the world. It was so special to me. I'll always remember it. This is one of my favorite cities to play in because of the passion of the fans.
Aujourd'hui, alors on va le rappeler quand même, on va revenir sur ton histoire. T'es né aux États-Unis, en Californie, dans une petite ville. Tu fais aujourd'hui partie des artistes majeurs américaines en ce qui concerne le violon. T'es également une performeuse. T'as commencé le violon à 6 ans. Pourquoi le choix de cet instrument, le violon ?
You know, when I was really little, my parents loved classical music, and they would play it in our home on this old record player. And so I just grew up from, tiny baby, listening to classical music. And, the violins always get the solos in the orchestra. They always have the fast, fun melodies. And so just from a very young age, I knew I wanted to play the violin.
Alors le violon, ça coûte cher, ne serait-ce que les cours, ne serait-ce que l'instrument. C'est le cas en France, mais c'est aussi le cas aux États-Unis. Tu viens d'une famille plutôt modeste. Comment tes parents ont fait pour t'acheter un violon ?
My parents did not have a lot of money, at all. We struggled financially. And so, they took a while to get me violin lessons because my mom was searching for someone who would teach me for 15 minutes a week because that's all she could afford. And she finally found a college student that was willing to do it. No one else would do it because they just said no child could learn the violin for 15-minute lessons. But I'm so grateful that a college student took a chance on me and, it worked.
Alors c'est rigolo parce que toute la semaine on a fait une semaine spéciale autour de la sortie de l'album, autour d'Artemis. Alors on a fait gagner des albums, bien évidemment on a fait gagner des places pour aller te voir en concert, mais pas que. Cette semaine on a décidé de faire gagner un violon à un enfant qui voulait se lancer dans des cours de violon. On a décidé aussi de faire gagner des cours de violon à l'antenne. Qu'est-ce que tu penses de cette initiative ?
That's amazing. That's so cool because you're giving someone the chance to learn. Like, I know so many people, you know, including myself once, that just wanted to learn something. And, you know, to give that gift to someone, that's a gift that, you know, goes beyond anything. So that's amazing.
Toi, des cours de violon, t'en as pris pendant longtemps et à 16 ans, t'as monté ton premier groupe. Et ce groupe, étonnamment, alors que tu passais par une formation classique, c'était un groupe de rock. C'est très avant-gardiste d'avoir l'idée de se lancer quand même. T'as même composé des morceaux rock au violon. C'est très avant-gardiste. Comment t'as eu cette idée à l'époque ?
I have very eclectic taste. I like lots of different styles of music, and I also like to explore. I like to try new things and not just put myself in a box. You know, because for a long time I lived in the classical box, and so now I love to just be like, if I like something, if I want to try something, like, let's do it, let's explore. And, you know, and so, yeah, I love rock and roll. And the very first song I ever wrote was a little rock violin song, you know, that was because I was in a rock band in high school. And yeah, and I've collaborated with rock artists such as Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm and Evanescence, you know, so it's a big part of me is a little bit of rock.
On avance un petit peu dans ta carrière. À l'âge de 23 ans, tu participes à une émission de télé, alors qu'on connaît en France sous le nom de La France a un incroyable talent. Aux États-Unis, ça s'appelle America's Got Talent. Et là-bas, tu tombes face à un jury qui te dit cette phrase. Un membre du jury, il te dit « Vous n'êtes pas sans talent, mais vous n'êtes pas assez doué pour vous en sortir en virevoltant dans les airs et en essayant de jouer du violon en même temps. Vous devriez être dans un groupe, ce que vous faites n'est pas suffisant pour remplir une salle à Las Vegas. » Les paroles de ce jury, elles ont été très violentes pour toi.
When I was on America's Got Talent, it was the first time I had put myself out there before. And so I was devastated. I was humiliated. And I just honestly didn't know where to go. I didn't know if I had the courage to get on a stage again because I was so embarrassed by what had just happened. And, you know, and thought maybe they're right. Maybe I don't have what it takes. But then, you know, after a little bit of time, there was that inner gut that just kept saying, no, there's more, don't give up. And you got to trust your heart because sometimes it is time to try a different path. But sometimes it's time to push forward and jump over a wall or climb over whatever barrier is up against you. And the only one that can tell you that is you. And that's what I learned from America's Got Talent is one, that in order to succeed, it's not just that you walk a path that has no barriers. In order to succeed, you have to learn how to get up every time you fall. And I learned that you can't listen to what someone else tells you. Like, you know, you can't let someone else write your own your story. You're the only one that can write your story. And I'm really glad that I had that experience, even though at the time it was horrible and, it was awful. But I'm so glad now that I went through that because it made me stronger and it made me persevere and it made me really fight for what I now have. And I'm grateful for that.
Et en tout cas, l'histoire montre qu'il s'est bien trompé. Toute l'histoire de ta vie et toute l'histoire de ta carrière, on peut la retrouver dans un livre, alors qui malheureusement n'a pas été traduit en français. Ce livre, c'est, mon accent est très mauvais, The Only Pirate at the Party. Yeah. Ce livre, si vous voulez le trouver, vous le trouvez facilement, uniquement en anglais. Ça va vous faire réviser, c'est pas mal. Profitez-en, il est juste génial. Je voudrais qu'on analyse la pochette de ce livre. Je voudrais déjà que tu m'expliques pourquoi ce titre et pourquoi ce costume.
Well, I've always loved pirates forever. Since I was a kid, I would dress up as a pirate. But there's actually a story in the book, a real story, when I first moved to LA. And a friend of mine that I just met, she was having a Peter Pan themed birthday party. Okay. And so I decided to go, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to make some friends because I didn't really know anybody in LA. And I go to this party dressed up as Captain Hook. So I was dressed up like a pirate. And I get there just imagining that it's a Peter Pan themed party. Everybody's going to be dressed up. Nobody's dressed up. There's no decorations. There was just a Tinkerbell cake. And I looked around and I thought, oh gosh, I could leave and no one will know I was even here. Or I can just go into the party and own the fact that I'm dressed like a pirate. And so I chose to just go in the party and have fun and laugh about it. And I thought that was a great metaphor for life. I ended up meeting lots of people because I just was confident that I was a pirate. And sometimes in life, you will find yourself feeling different. You'll find yourself realizing that maybe I'm not like everybody else in this situation. And you can be afraid of it and you can run away and hide. Or you can walk into life and say, this is who I am. And in this moment, I'm proud of it. And that's a big metaphor for my life of sometimes, you know, it's okay to be different. And sometimes it's a great thing to be different if you accept yourself for that. And you give courage for other people to accept themselves for who they are. Because the truth is, we're all different. And that's what makes life beautiful.
Ce livre, tu l'as pas écrit toute seule, tu l'as écrit avec ta sœur, Brooke. Pourquoi avoir choisi de l'écrire avec ta sœur? C'était quoi son rôle exactement à elle?
My sister is a great writer.
Okay.
And I come from a family of writers. I'm the music writer, but they all, you know, like to write literature. And so my sister knows me better than anyone. And she, you know, obviously grew up with me, but she was also my roommate in college. She also came on tour with me. And so I thought she's been in every chapter of my life, especially up to that point. And so I was like, who better to work on this book with than my, you know, the closest person to me, my sister. And it was so fun to write the book with my sister. We would, you know, Skype almost every night and laugh and talk about stories and memories. And, you know, and she's just such a good writer.
En tout cas, ce livre, vous le retrouvez, comme je vous l'ai dit, en anglais. Allez-y. La dernière fois que je le dis dans cette interview, profitez-en, achetez-le. On va parler d'autre chose. Je voudrais qu'on parle de quelque chose que j'ai remarqué. On sent, quand on parle avec toi, une certaine sensibilité, un certain naturel, quelque chose de très vrai dans ta façon d'être. Aujourd'hui, les artistes ont cette sensibilité, mais essayent de la cacher. Toi, au contraire, je trouve qu'on la voit facilement et beaucoup de gens, en fait, vont se reconnaître en toi. Beaucoup de gens vont avoir envie de pousser leurs limites, d'atteindre des objectifs grâce à toi. Et très souvent, ils te remercient sur Internet pour ça, car c'est grâce à toi qu'ils arrivent à atteindre leur but. Qu'est-ce que t'en penses?
You know, it was always really important for me to be very open with my fans. And the reason is because years ago, I went through anorexia and I went through depression. And when I went through that, I felt so alone. And I didn't understand what I was feeling. And I definitely didn't know that other people could possibly feel the same way. And I remember, like, these diseases, they're very isolating. And so once I realized that I had a problem and I dealt with it and I got help and I got therapy and I went to group therapy and I realized that other people felt the same way, it made me realize I want to share my stories with people so that, you know, they don't feel alone. Because if I felt alone, I'm sure that other people do too. And so I'm very vocal about the things I struggle with. And it makes it so that suddenly the mask gets taken off and you realize that we all struggle. We all have pain. We all have joy. We all have excitement. And unless you share these things, you know, the world can be a very lonely place. And, you know, and I share it not only through, you know, my words, but I share it through my music. I share it through the music videos. They all tell stories that are analogies of the experiences I've had, just in hopes that someone else will feel understood.
La question que je vais te poser maintenant, elle est un peu originale. Je vais te demander de te mettre à l'extérieur de ton personnage, ou à l'extérieur même de toi-même. Si tu étais une personne extérieure, comment tu décrirais Lindsey Stirling, l'artiste?
If I was looking at myself from the outside, I would say, I'd probably think that girl must be a little crazy because she's all over the place. But, you know, I'd probably just think she was a very creative person. And probably think to myself, she needs to take some dance lessons. But, you know, but yeah, I would probably just think of her as just a very creative person.
Et comment tu décrirais Lindsey Stirling, la personne?
I would hope that I would see in myself that I'm genuine. I feel the things that I share, and I would hope I would see that in myself, that, you know, she is a genuine person who cares.
On va revenir sur ce 5e album, Artemis. Je voudrais qu'on en parle, c'est donc le 5e, on le répète. Il y en a eu 4 avant, hein, par définition. Et on a l'impression qu'il est différent des autres. Cet album peut-être plus dynamique, peut-être plus pop. Comment tu décrirais cet album par rapport au précédent, toi?
I would describe this album as being, it's a little more joyful. So maybe that's why you say pop, because it's like a little happier. And I think it's because this album was written from a place of happiness, where my last album was written about loss, which was hard to write about. My previous album before that, Shatter Me, was written about overcoming anorexia. Hard. This one was written about like coming to my full light. And that's why it's called Artemis, because it's about the goddess of the moon and how the goddess of the moon, you know, the moon goes in phases, and sometimes it gets dark and sometimes it comes to full light. And I think that's like us. And I've had my phases when I've been in shadow, and now I feel like I'm in a phase of light, and I'm excited to share that chapter.
L'album, il s'appelle Artemis. Artemis, si vous y connaissez un petit peu en mythologie, c'est la fille de Zeus, c'est la déesse de la nature sauvage et la déesse de la chasse. C'est un rapport, j'imagine.
So Artemis is a Greek goddess. She's the goddess of the hunt. She's always seen with like a bow and arrow. The goddess of the moon. And she's also the protector of virtue and fertility. And I just love everything about that. I was fascinated by her. And I just think she's such a wonderful, dynamic character that represents femininity, because as women, we are strong, we can be fierce and bold, but we're also soft and we can be nurturing. And these are the two very different sides that Artemis represents.
Je voudrais qu'on parle rapidement d'une autre expérience. En France, on vous parle souvent de l'émission Danse avec les stars. Elle existe aussi, vous l'imaginez, aux États-Unis, ça s'appelle Dancing with the Stars. Tu as fini deuxième de ce programme. Quel souvenir t'en gardes?
That was such a fun experience. I loved it. It was also so hard. I was so tired. You know, I was touring and I was doing Dancing with the Stars. But I've always wanted to learn to dance my whole life. And so, I mean, I fell in love with ballroom dancing. And I just remember Mark, my partner, and I became just best friends, and we laughed so much, and I felt like I learned so much. And I remember just the costumes were amazing, and you know, it was just such a fun, unique experience that I'll treasure forever.
On va passer à une micro-chronique. En fait, tu as collaboré avec beaucoup d'artistes. Je vais te montrer des photos d'artistes avec qui tu as collaboré, et tu vas me dire en 2 mots pourquoi cette collaboration. On va commencer par elle.
Oh, the goddess herself, Celine Dion. I love Celine. I grew up loving Celine Dion and still do. She is so kind and classy, and she thanked me so much for performing with her when I'm like, thank you. Oh my gosh, you're Celine Dion. You know, but she was so kind and classy. That's all most I can say about her.
Et il y a autre chose que j'ai appris, alors là je l'ai découvert sur internet, tu as collaboré avec une artiste française qu'on aime beaucoup sur RTS, c'est Elle.
Yes, we actually toured together a little bit. She opened for me on my tour, I think 3 years, probably 3 years ago. And I just thought she had such a special voice, and I was, you know, really excited when she then reached out after we toured together to be on her song.
Un groupe maintenant avec qui tu es carrément parti en tournée, je voudrais que tu me parles d'eux.
Ah, my girl. This is Evanescence. And you know, I was on Evanescence album 2 years ago. Then because of that, we ended up going on a tour together, which was fantastic. One of my favorite tours I've ever done. And then, you know, now she's on my album. I love Amy Lee so much. Since I was 14, I was just amazed by her talent, and still am a fan. She is just a rock star. She's such an artist. She's a mom. She's so cool. And now she's my friend. So I will forever love Amy Lee.
Je voudrais te faire écouter une chanson maintenant. Tu as réinterprété beaucoup de chansons, tu as repris des chansons. Et cette chanson, c'est une chanson d'un artiste qui n'est pas français et francophone, parce qu'il est belge. On l'aime beaucoup, en tout cas en France. Écoute, tu vas me dire si tu reconnais.
Absolutely. Stromae.
Yes. Et tu
Love that song.
t'as réinterprété ce son, c'est ça?
Yes, actually Pentatonics and I did a collaboration and we covered Papa Ute. It's such a cool song.
Il y a beaucoup de morceaux comme ça que tu as repris dans des versions absolument magnifiques. Je vous encourage à aller les voir, notamment le générique de Game of Thrones, notamment Zelda. Comment tu choisis les morceaux que tu vas réinterpréter comme ça?
The covers that I do, I pick them based on many different things. Sometimes it's just because I love a song, like Phantom of the Opera. I love Phantom of the Opera so much. I grew up with it, so I decided to cover that. Sometimes I see a bunch of fans requesting, please do this, please, 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 you know. So, you know, okay, sure. I think those are the main reasons, though, is either I love it or my fans want it. And so, you know.
Très à l'écoute de tes fans, du coup. Je voudrais qu'on parle aussi, on approche bientôt de la fin de cette interview, mais du travail esthétique de tes clips. Personnellement, aujourd'hui, parmi tous les artistes dans le monde, tu as parmi les plus beaux clips visuellement, esthétiquement. Comment te viennent ces idées?
I love making music videos. To me, that's when the song really comes to life, is when it gets made into a visual and a story. And, you know, and sometimes I even think of the music video ideas before I write the song, you know, and so I have to write a song so that I can make the video. Like, it's just such an important part of the process for me, because I love storytelling. And, you know, I think of all of the music video ideas that I do, like, they all are things that I've thought of, and I creative direct them. I edit them as well. I design the costumes, and, you know, I'm just very, very involved in the process because I love the creative process so much, and I like all the pieces. And so my videos are like my little babies, you know, they're so special to me.
Avant de finir cette interview, on va passer à une petite chronique avec des questions très rapides. Qui est pour toi le plus grand ou la plus grande violoniste de tous les temps?
Itzhak Perlman.
Je voudrais que tu m'expliques, j'ai trouvé un violon, j'ai trouvé une photo d'un violon, je voudrais que tu me dises qu'est-ce que t'en penses.
I mean, it's a Stradivarius. They're irreplaceable, you know, like they can't be remade. And so, but wow, yeah. I won't be buying it anytime soon, but I believe it.
Je vais faire une petite confession. Moi aussi, j'ai fait du violon quand j'étais petit. Oui, je raconte toujours un petit extrait de ma vie. Moi aussi, j'ai fait du violon quand j'étais petit. J'en ai fait pendant 2 ans. Et alors, je vais te dire pourquoi. C'était à cause de lui. Tu vas me dire ce que t'en penses.
Oh, yes! Little House on the Prairie, of course, yes.
Qu'est-ce que t'en penses?
Oh, he was a great aspiring violinist.
Mais c'est pas lui qui t'a donné envie de faire du violon, c'est juste moi. Je reste tout seul avec mon anecdote, y a pas de souci. Allez, les dates de la tournée, je vous les rappelle. Demain, tu seras à la scène musicale de Boulogne-Billancourt, le 1er octobre à l'Arkea Arena de Florac à côté de Bordeaux, le 2 octobre à la Altony Garnier à Lyon et le 4 octobre au Zénith de Nantes. Comme toutes mes émissions, je vais finir avec cette question. Si tu avais l'occasion de remonter le temps et de t'adresser à toi-même quand tu étais petite, qu'est-ce que tu te dirais maintenant que tu connais tout ce qui t'est arrivé?
I honestly would give myself the advice or the wisdom that everything will be okay. Because I think during certain chapters, you definitely wonder, like, will this work out? Will everything be okay? And that goes beyond not just like career stuff, just life stuff. Sometimes life is hard, and I would just tell myself that you're going to get through it. And everything's going to be okay. And I still now am like trying to really learn this lesson, because I just remind myself it was okay in the past and that was hard. So whatever you go through in life, like, it's going to be okay.
Merci beaucoup, Lindsay. Merci d'être venu nous voir. L'album Artemis, vous le retrouvez bien évidemment partout, sur les plateformes de téléchargement légales et dans les bacs. Et le single, le dernier single, qui s'appelle The Upside, vous l'écoutez sur RTS. Merci encore, Lindsay, à très bientôt.
Merci beaucoup.